Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us first up here on NDTV. Good to have you back on the show. First up, let's talk about the tests, the three players, batsmen that you picked in the test format. It's Kohli, Pujara and Karun Nair. Now, as far as Pujara is concerned, do you think he's a bit of an unsung hero?
Yes, he is. You know, you have to really cast your mind back to the series when it happened, because when you are just a one format player, it tends to disappear quite quickly. And that is where his 400 runs and useful contributions right at the top went slightly unnoticed, because he started strongly in Rajkot, but then petered away a little bit. But then 400 runs, you need to acknowledge that. And that's why Pujara is my number 2. And Karun Nair, for the triple century that he scored, didn't really fire the first 2 tests, but triple century in your 3rd test match, I think that sealed the deal for him.
All right, staying with the top 3 batsmen, Aakash, that you've picked in the test series, which India incidentally won 4-0. You've also picked Karun Nair there. You mentioned him, 303 not out, of course, a career best score for him. Only the second Indian after Virender Sehwag to smash a test triple century. An average of 160 with a strike rate of 79. Do you think this is the series, Aakash, that will be remembered as the big turning point in Karun Nair's career?
Well, I hope that's the case, Aakash, because he's in a stage where he's now forcing the selectors and the captain and the team management to rethink their strategy. They might have to actually play 6 batsmen to accommodate him, because you can't drop somebody after he scored a triple century, only the second Indian, like you rightly said. So this is that cornerstone of his international career. People don't get to triple century, that mark. Someone like even Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul, Dravid, and the greats that have played the game for India, they have not reached that far. So it is very, very special.
All right, let's quickly now talk about the top 3 bowlers, Aakash, that you've picked in the test series. You've picked Ashwin, Jadeja and Shami. Ashwin took 3 5-wicket hauls. Jadeja, his best in an innings was 7 for 48. But let's talk about Shami here, because, of course, whenever India plays a test series at home, you know that the spinners will come to the party. You know that they will be the big match winners. But why do you think you've picked Mohammad Shami in this list? How big an impact did he have in the test series?
You know, he picked up only 10 wickets. When you look at that number in isolation, it feels over 4 or 5 test matches. 4 test matches, I think he played 3 or 4 or got injured eventually. So they aren't really like crazy numbers. But then when you look at how he's operated, that fast bowlers used to be release bowlers, Aakash, in the past. Not anymore. Virat Kohli has gone to him and his partner Umesh Yadav for wickets, and they have delivered. They have broken partnerships, and breaking partnerships, nobody can actually count for those, the importance of that partnership. The conventional numbers fail us there, but when you follow the game, when you play the game, you know that a 200-run partnership, how crucial is it actually to break it, and that's what he's done time and again. So Mohammad Shami, I think he was a runaway winner when it comes to the 3rd spot.
All right, so the tests are done. Let's quickly move on to the other format now, which was played after the test, the one-day format. And let's quickly run you through Aakash's picks for the top 3 batsmen, top 3 bowlers, and the top 3 impact players that he's picked on his list. Let's start with the batsmen in the ODI series between India and England first. And these are the 3 batsmen that Aakash has picked. He's picked Jadav, he's picked Virat Kohli, and Yuvraj Singh. That's Jadav, Kohli and Yuvraj for Aakash in his top 3 picks for the batsmen. Let's quickly move on now to the bowlers list. And here, Aakash has picked Jadeja, he's picked Hardik Pandya, and he's picked Jasprit Bumrah. Those are the 3 bowlers that Aakash has picked, Jadeja, Pandya and Bumrah. Aakash, let's talk about the batsmen here first in the ODI series. Now, one thing that not really is talked about by too many people when it comes to Jadav is the fact that he ended up being the highest run getter in the ODI series versus England. He had an average of 77, but yet a lot of people tend to forget that.
Yes, and also not to forget that he bats at number 6, Aakash. The most difficult number in an ODI lineup, especially when you're talking about these high-scoring games, because the top has also flourished. Every time you'll find yourself either walking in with 145 for 5 or very little time to do anything or make an impact. But Kedar Jadhav, once he walked in when India were in all sorts of doldrums, he rescued India, played that match-winning knock, overshadowed Virat Kohli in Pune. That was sensational. And then even in that losing cause in Kolkata, I thought he was brilliant, because he almost pulled off a spectacular win, something that was against all odds. And that is where I think it's been sensational. Kedar Jadhav is the story when it comes to one-day cricket against England in this series.
All right, that's really well summarized by Aakash there. The Kedar Jadhav is the story when it comes to the ODI series against England. Virat Kohli, of course, also on that list, of course, extremely influential through the series, both as captain and as a batsman. But let's talk about the third name on that list, Yuzvendra Singh. Aakash, do you think this could well be a watershed moment, the series in his entire career? He scored his career best score of 150, average of 70.
100%, because comebacks are more difficult than making your debut, because the swords are already out. They're baying for your blood. They actually expect you to fail more than you to succeed, and therefore to come out and play your natural game and score a 150-run individual score in a match in a winning cause, taking the team to 381 when India were actually 25 for 3, if I remember correctly, in Cuttack. So he's done well there, and he reminded us of Yuvraj Singh of old, and that was sensational. They aren't better hitter of the cricket ball when it comes to just power hitting, and Yuvraj Singh was at his sublime best in the one-day series.
All right, let's talk about the three bowlers, Aakash, that you've picked as your top three bowlers in the ODI series versus England. You've picked Jadeja, Pandya and Bumrah. Now, the first question that comes to mind right now is why no English picks? 3 out of the 5 top wicket takers in that series were Englishmen. But have you not picked any Englishmen there purely because they didn't win the series?
Well, I think Vokes was outstanding. He set up the game nicely in one game. Stokes was brilliant in the other game, the game that they actually won. It's just that since we're talking about talking from an India perspective, therefore the 3 Indian bowlers. And let me tell you honestly, I was hard-pressed to find names, because all of them have gone over 6.5 runs and over, except Ravindra Jadeja, and that's why he's at the top of that list, because once again, conventional numbers, they won't do justice to his performances, where he was going for 10 overs 45, 10 overs 55, in which everybody else was going at 7.5 runs and over. 350 runs was scored and chased down easily. So I think Ravindra Jadeja was critical to India's success and allowed India to seal the deal. But other 2 names, I had to pick Indian players, so I have done that. But it did put me in a lot of pressure under scanner. That's what happened to all the bowlers in this series.
All right, Aakash, let's quickly move on now to the shortest format, the T20 format, and let's quickly show our viewers the players that you have picked in that format. We'll bring those graphics up on the screen. Let's quickly start with the batsman, where he's picked Raina, Rahul and Dhoni. Now, as far as Raina is concerned, Aakash, would you say that this could well be a turning point in his career as well? Can he perhaps make his way back into the ODI team also?
Well, let's hope that's the case, because Suresh Raina is critical in limited overs format. I think he's one of the best T20 batsmen that India has ever produced and the world has ever seen. So it was a delight to watch him bat, and also must give credit to the team management to put him at number 3 and not at number 5 or 6, where his role would have been marginal. So you always wanted Suresh Raina to come, fire. That he has done. He gives you a few overs as well. He's a very good fielder. So I think it just augurs well for Team India looking at the Champions Trophy. If he can continue in the same vein, have a wonderful IPL, he will put necessary pressure on the selectors to pick him, and that's always a good thing.
All right, now let's move on very quickly, Aakash, to a very interesting question that we had posed to you earlier. And we asked you if there was only one player who had to be picked between Chahal and Amit Mishra for the Champions Trophy, perhaps, who would you go with? And you have gone with Chahal. Question is, of course, why Chahal? Do you think he's finally out of Amit Mishra's shadow?
I think so. And when you're talking about Yuzvendra Chahal, the things that you notice in a T20 game, in this entire T20 series, that it is like pressure cooker situation. You're not afraid to get hit. You're going there for wickets, and you're bowling in power play overs with that white ball, which is not easy to control for a leggy. So he's been outstanding. He's ticked all the boxes that he could have ticked. Age is on his side as well. He's a young guy with a lot of enthusiasm and is willing to really take that fight to the opposition. So I like the way he's actually performed and transformed himself from just a team player to a match winner, taking 6 wickets in 4 overs. Aakash, it's not a mean feat. Only 2 times it has happened in the past, and that was only one bowler who has done it, Ajanta Mendes. So you need this kind of mystery to take that kind of or produce that kind of performance in a T20 game. If he can do that in a T20 game, 50 overs, he'll be more lethal.
Absolutely. His nickname, don't forget, is Popeye. Some people call him Popeye without the spinach, of course, going for those muscles, the non-existent muscles of his. One final thing to analyze with you, Aakash, before we let you go. The 3 areas where India should improve before the Champions Trophy. Let's quickly show our viewers the 3 areas you've picked. You've picked the opening combination, death overs batting and wickets with the new ball. We just have enough time, Aakash, to pick on the most important one. Which is the most important area you think that India should improve on here?
2 things. One is definitely opening the batting. So Rohit will be back. So half the problem will be addressed automatically. And quickly moving on to the second most important thing is taking wickets with the new ball. In the entire ODI series against England, I think India picked only 2 wickets, and out of which 1 came courtesy a run out. So you haven't really picked wickets with the new ball. And if you were to succeed in England, the new ball must count, and therefore that needs to be addressed and get sorted ASAP. Otherwise, 350 runs will be scored every single time we walk out.
All right, Aakash, unfortunately, we've completely run out of time, but appreciate your taking your time out and analyzing the entire India-England series across all 3 formats with us. Thanks so much for joining us here. Look forward to chatting with you again soon.